This is Peter Apocatos. I'm an analyst with New Constructs, and I'm going to walk you through a quick tutorial of the New Constructs Microsoft Excel add-in. So I'm going to jump to my PC here, and as you can see, we've got the add-in downloaded. It's in the Downloads folder. As per usual, the compressed file, just make sure you unzip it, extract it. You can save the add-in wherever you like. I've got it saved here on the desktop for some demo purposes. But obviously, if you're a heavy add-in user, feel free to save that wherever you save the rest of your add-ins on your machine. So we're going to open up Excel, head to the Developer tab. As you can see, we've got Excel add-ins here. We're going to find our add-in. So just going to point it to the location of wherever you just saved that file at. Sure we've got it checked, hit OK. We should have a New Constructs menu item here up in the ribbon. To start, we're going to hit Launch Form. And as you can see here, it's initialized, and it's going to ask you to enter your API key. So you're going to go ahead and do that, and then hit Save API Key. So after you enter your API key, you should get a quick confirmation message. So you just hit OK and close out of that. And then you should be taken to this main screen on the form. And this lists all the different endpoints we have here. For example, we can start off with coverage. This little formula helper will allow me to pick the entire coverage universe for the security type that I want to see. For example, here, if I want to see stocks, it'll automatically populate all the stocks that we currently cover. As you can see here, this is all formula based, but when you're initially using the add-in, it probably is recommended to at least start off with the formula helpers, just that way you get a feel for how everything works, and then once you're more comfortable with it, go from there and use formulas as you wish. Moving on, we can next check out component rating, and this will let you see the individual component rating that we give a security. Again, here you can select security type, stocks, ETFs, mutual funds. So for example, if we want to see Apple's specific ROIC rating that we give it, I can just pop that in. You can see it's very attractive. If I'd rather see that as a value, just pop that in right there. And as you can see, that returned as a value rather than an actual formula. Moving on next, we can go to all component ratings, and this is pretty similar to what we just saw in the prior endpoint section. This will give me all of those individual ratings all together at once. So similar deal here with Apple. This will populate all the component ratings all at one time for me for Apple. Continuing on, we have another endpoint titled Data Points, and this is a bit more informative. So as you can see here, we've got a list of all the data points available, and I can select one, such as accounts payable here. If I insert that, that'll give me the name of the data point, a qualitative description, and then an actual location of where this data point is located in the endpoints. So for example, here this is stating that accounts payable can be found in the model data endpoint, the reported fundamentals endpoint, or the adjusted fundamentals endpoint. Moving on to our next endpoint, model data. Model data contains every publicly available data point that we have through our API. So for example here, if we have Apple and we want to look at Apple's NOPAT for 2017, I can select that, insert that here. Once more, this is all formula based, so if I wanted to technically change this to Home Depot, I can do that right here. NOPAT for 2017 rather than Apple's. Another thing to note here is we also have quarterly data available, so if I wanted Apple's 2017 Q1 NOPAT per se rather than the full annual value, I could select that. And then now I have Apple's 2017 Q1 Notepad. As you can see up here, the second numerical argument, I can change this to a 2, and that would give me Apple's 2017 Q2 Notepad. So once again, this all ties back into this just being a helper, and once again, everything is formula based. So to demonstrate, if I wanted Apple 2017 Q2 again using the helper, I could insert that here, and as you can see, these are identical. One was just inputted by myself, and then one was inputted via the helper. One last thing to note on this endpoint is we also have TTM data available. So if I wanted Apple's 2017 Notepad on a TTM basis after they've filed their second quarterly for 2017, I can select that as well. Tying back to the formula, this last numerical argument is specified as a 2 here because we were looking on a trailing 12 months basis after Apple has filed its second Q for the 2017 period. So that's substantially different from its 2017 Q2 Notepad per se. This is on a trailing 12 months basis, what is its Notepad after it's filed its second quarter for the 2017 period. Our next endpoint is reported fundamentals, and this is just going to strictly contain fundamentals that are reported. You're not going to find our metrics in here such as Notepad or ROIC, etc. We've got pretty much basic reported fundamentals in here as the title states, so things like accounts payable, accounts receivable, shareholders' equity, this is all accessible in the same manner as the previous endpoint went over model data. Our final endpoint is adjusted fundamentals, and this contains all of the adjusted fundamentals we have publicly available through our API. You'll find things in here such as ROIC, and again, this function is very similar, well, actually identical to how model data and reported fundamentals function. For example, once again, if I wanted 2017 ROIC for Apple, I can insert that here, and I can format it as a %. Expand the decimal if I want. I'll conclude here with a simple yet useful example of really the power of having all of these data points being able to be accessed in a formula-based manner. As you can see here, I've got an ultra basic historical trend chart of return on invested capital, and once I open up this cell here, you can see the add-in function I'm using, and we're referencing the ticker here, the data point we want here, year value here, specifying that we're interested in solely the annual value here. So we're signifying that with the 0 for the quarterly input, and then signifying 0 for the trailing 12 months input. So this is going to give me Apple's ROIC for 2012, and then this cascades across. And once I have everything set up here, I can change this to any ticker I want. Like check out Home Depot, for example. Maybe Delta Airlines. McDonald's. And everything it instantly updates for me just like that. That concludes our tutorial. Thank you for your time, and we hope you enjoy using the New Constructs Microsoft Excel add-in.